Hi guys, Peter Dingle here in part 2, Healing the Gut. And these are strategies to fix the gut. But before I get underway, I want to explain, and you've seen this model before, my oxidation, inflammation, acidosis. These are the three cornerstones of overcoming illness, and I'll be putting that video up soon. And the critical thing here is if we minimize each of those, lower the oxidation, lower inflammation, lower acidosis, then our whole body starts to come back into a state of balance. Now, the same occurs in the gut. And as a result, you end up with an improved immune system, nervous system, endocrine or hormone system, and overall well-being. So my message is everything I tell you from now on is about lowering oxidation, inflammation, acidosis. I've given you lots of information. I'm going to give you whys and hows of some of the strategic things I've already mentioned. And the best example, first of all, keep a food diary. It's really important to understand what you're doing. And it's so easy to forget what you did eat and didn't eat, what you reacted to, and so on. Something like 30% of people who recall their food that they've consumed get it wrong by about 30%. So it's a little bit scary forgetting how much of what we ate. Work out your food allergies, intolerances, and reactions. You might react to certain fruits. You might react to certain nuts or seeds. You may react to, and only by keeping a food diary can you actually keep up to date with this and work it out, remove those, because I'm telling you all the really healthy foods, but you tell me what foods you can't eat. And already some of those, you know. Now, obviously, we're talking about get rid of dairy when we can, unless it's fermented in terms of yogurt and so on. Get rid of sugars and processed foods and all those ones, deep fried oils and all those other bits and pieces that are really going to cause problems. Gluten is another one. Get rid of wheat if you can for a short time and see how it all goes. So less processed foods, slower, smaller eating. Your digestive system cannot function if it's exhausted. So you're much better off sharing your meals over the day. Maybe, as I've already highlighted, the 12-12 or an 8-14 eating. Eat for 8 hours during the day, not all of it, of course, and 14 hours where you don't eat, or 12 hours where you don't eat. In that time, your body is able to go through a complete digestive cycle, get rid of everything and say, okay, let's get back to basics. You almost reset your digestive system. Eat more raw, it's easier to digest. Now that means salads and smoothies. I love smoothies, I love salads. And the great thing about this is that you will lose weight, but we've also got a lot of information on weight loss in our other parts of the program. So check that out, because one of the best things you can do for virtually every form of chronic illness we have and gut issues is losing weight. So the benefits of raw: when you have something raw, it's prebiotic, so it's got the fibers and the polyphenols in there to be able to feed the gut bacteria and the gut microorganisms in that microbiota and keep you happier and healthier and help repair. You cannot repair the gut if you're eating highly processed foods and foods that have toxic components. Now, unfortunately, whenever we cook food, you do increase the toxic load of it. The more it's cooked, the greater the toxic load. When you burn toast or meat or something like that, you've really increased that toxic load and your gut has to deal with it. And it uses up lots of your nutrients and resources to do with that. So when you have something raw, it's much easier to digest. You've got all the prebiotics. When you have something raw, if you have got an apple in your hand, well, that's got 100 million microorganisms on it, in it, and through it. And they all are a part of that apple digestive. Don't panic. Don't panic. We get them everywhere, guys. The great thing is they're part of that apple digestive process, so that when we start eating it, it actually helps us re-inoculate our gut and become a part of the digestive process. When you eat raw foods, just as important though, they're full of enzymes, and these enzymes help break down food. Whenever you cook a food above 48 degrees, so even really warm, but okay, you're going to destroy the enzymes which enable it to digest. Now, that means you then have to produce all the enzymes to digest the food. So overcooked foods, ultra-processed foods are extremely hard on your digestive system, your gut. It has to work. It has to do a marathon and a sprint at the same time to try and digest it. Now, I've mentioned apple cider vinegar and the win-win. There are two ways of having apple cider vinegar. One, and my recommended one for healing the gut, is with a meal. So you have it just before or right at the beginning of a meal. You can have it in between meals, and the research shows that it actually helps regulate blood sugar levels and weight loss and improve weight loss and so on. So there are benefits all around. And now vinegar has been around for literally thousands of years, and it's been pretty well ignored up until the last 10 or 15 years where it's had this resurgence. Now, the first one is always get an organic brand or something like that. There it is. That's what I use. There are lots of brands in the supermarket, health food stores, and so on. Absolutely a must. You can also get it in capsule form if required, if you struggle. But if you read down the bottom, always dilute it. Always dilute it. So 10 mils in 30 to 40 mils of water. Now, what is so good with apple cider vinegar? Why has everybody talked about it for hundreds of years when in the healing? And in fact, it's mentioned by many of the healers as the thing to get you going, because first of all, it triggers, it's highly acidic. It has a pH of 2, and you know that's important in the stomach. So what you end up with is an acidic stomach. So when you start eating the foods, you've got the acid already sitting there, and the foods start to pre-digest in the stomach already. So it's already there reducing the pH, which is making it more acid. Remember, the lower the number, the stronger the acid. And so it's really, really important. Now, the problem, I've already told you about this, is if we eat a really big meal, really fast, highly processed, by the time we've got it into our stomach is releasing hydrochloric acid and digestive juices, and it sits on top of the food. Not great. You want it in the beginning, and you want it slowly to integrate into the food as you slowly eat it. So that's why eating slower enables your body to catch up with the release of hydrochloric acid. And of course, as I said, you can kickstart it with some apple cider vinegar already in the stomach or as a part of your meal. Now, that's why we have it on salad dressings. You probably don't know that, but that's historically where it's come from. And it has lots of probiotics and prebiotics in there. But in addition, the studies show that people who consume apple cider vinegar in the studies, they heal the gut. So it has gut healing properties. And here we're talking about ulcers. Now, that is probably because of the acetic acid, which is what vinegar is, but also because of its probiotics and the fact that it is anti-helicobacter. Wow. So if you've got helicobacter, and we all will at some stage pass through our systems, what we want to do is keep it under check and under control. And one of the simplest strategies is regularly having apple cider vinegar, because apple cider vinegar increases the pH, the acidity of the stomach, and no bacteria likes a really acid stomach, so especially Helicobacter. It's anti-inflammatory, and as I said, it's prebiotic and probiotic. What a great idea. And what's it going to cost you each time? 1 or 2 cents for a glass with your major meal. So I tend to have it at dinner time, and you know, it's a regular part of my regime. Sodium bicarb. Now, this is a bit of the opposite. This is literally the alkalizing. So it's the exact opposite of vinegar in a sense. So you never take the two together. Otherwise, you end up, if you mix them, some people have said, oh, you know, I've said, don't mix them. What happens if you mix them? Well, you end up with the volcano effect. And so if you've had some sodium bicarbonate vinegar, you're going to produce a lot of gas, and it's going to go blah, 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 blah. Not a great idea. So what you want to do is absolutely separate those. Now, my take on sodium bicarb, and I'm a regular consumer of sodium bicarb probably every second morning. And I have it well away from the meal. In fact, I tell people have it first thing in the morning before you wake up. So you walk out there and you get your sodium bicarb. You take a half a teaspoon of sodium bicarb, mix it in with half a glass of water or a full glass of water, it doesn't matter, and down it goes. It's not that bad tasting. And what it does is it's incredibly alkalizing, first of all, for your body. And what we want to do is alkalize our body. Remember that little triangle? So one of the simplest strategies out there. Now, we know there are so many benefits of apple cider vinegar because it's used to enhance physical performance. You're not allowed to use it in horse racing because literally it's illegal because it enhances the racing ability of the horses. Now, you're not a horse race. You may not be a horse in a race, but our body is too acidic most of the time. And so in the morning, I really suggest you try a little bit of sodium bicarb. Now, again, like all this, it's suck it and see. If it doesn't work for you, you don't feel good on it, makes you feel sick, don't do it. Stop it. That's all this. And where it comes in handy is it alkalizes your digestive tract. First thing in the morning, it literally zaps through your stomach. It goes through your stomach in what I call the stomach freeway and straight into your small intestine. That's why if you have a drink of water first thing in the morning, you can feel it gurgling down 10 or 15 minutes later. It doesn't sit in your stomach. There's no food to hold it in. And so it just goes through in a form. It doesn't react with the hydrochloric acid because your stomach hasn't released it, because your stomach doesn't think there's any food coming. It's just water. So it allows it to go straight through into the small intestine, which is what you want to alkalize, remember? And so by alkalizing the small intestine, it can have a dramatic and really simple impact on SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And as a result of that pH, you'll remember that because it becomes alkaline, it sets off a cascade of events, which then get the motor neurons moving around, and it gets all the messages going and everything starts to move. So just with sodium bicarb and apple cider vinegar, you'll find it can really help with anything from constipation to feeling the food isn't moving through the stomach and so on. But remember, have the sodium bicarb well away from food. It also reduces acidity of the blood, which I mentioned in terms of alkalizing it, and it actually breaks down, or it interacts with something called D-lactate. Now, if you've got SIBO, the D-lactate is one of the toxic ingredients the bacteria and fungi release into your blood, and it goes to your brain and can cause that, don't know what to do, where am I going type sensation. And again, I cover a lot more of this in the SIBO program, which you've got access to. And so the D-lactate is neutralized because of the alkalinity, and all of a sudden, literally within minutes, you can start to get clarity if that is an issue for you. Now, it's anti-inflammatory and it's really simple and really cost effective. There you go. There's my sodium bicarb. How simple is that? And I take that probably every second morning. If I'm eating a lot of raw food and a lot of really alkaline food that day, I may not have it the next day. So it's about balancing everything out. Raw foods, smoothies, they're easy, essential, and give immediate relief. So there's a couple of pictures of some of my raw smoothies over there. You can see those. And the great thing is you can mix and match for whatever you want and your kids want. Now, coming home, when my grandkids come home from school, the first thing I do is, do you want a smoothie? Yeah. So what we do is we get some mango, whatever fruit's in season, but often banana, mix it in with a little bit of berry juice, or mix it in with some coconut water, and then you're ready. I put some probiotics, some symbiotics in with it, and I put a little bit of K-fiber in. I hide that in there too, and they love it. They love it. And now they're getting more nutrients for their gut and their body than most people would get in a whole day, and most kids especially. So have the smoothies. They're absolutely fantastic. Now, digestive enzymes. I read this around about probably 15, 20 years ago, that the single best supplement you can take is digestive enzymes. Why? Because all it does is makes your digestive system work much more effectively and efficiently. And so if you take digestive enzymes, which I do every dinner time, even when I go out, I hand in my pocket, bring out my 2 digestive enzymes, and down it goes. Wow, why? Because remember, if I'm eating a processed meal, and yeah, I eat a processed meal and my salad at nighttime, so some raw mixed in there, I want to make that digestion process really easy in my small intestine, where most of that digestion occurs. And so the enzymes get through there with the food, and your pancreas says, wow, Pete, I don't have to release any more enzymes. I can detect that the enzymes are already there doing the work for me. It's speeding up. Thank you. And it makes it easier. How simple is that? Now, they're pretty cost effective, pretty cheaply. You just look for digestive enzymes at the health food store or online. Probiotics and symbiotics, again, easy, essential, and immediate relief. I am a big fan of probiotics. Now, if you've got gut issues, you need a lot. With probiotics, a lot of people say, well, when do I take them? And the critical factor is it doesn't matter as long as you take them. But the more you take, the better it is to overcome these issues. And so what you want to do is ensure that you get the right balance. Probiotics are the bacteria that break it down. Sorry, the bacteria that breed up. The symbiotics is a mixture of probiotics and prebiotics, and I take a symbiotic. So I take something, I rip open the capsule, mix them in, and that's what I get I take them every 3 or 4 days. If I'm sick, I take them twice a day. That's how simple it is for me. Now, the main ones you need, there's a lot of probiotics out there, and they say, oh, this has got 12, and this has got 15, and this has got 20. And what I do is say, look, it's really simple. The 2 main ones you need are the lactic acid bacteria, so lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. And then there's a mold which shows up in a lot of the research, or a fungi called Saccharomyces boulardii. And you can get all of these literally from the health food store, but even better, you can get them really high quality online. You can check out the ones we use on our website. And again, this is a regular one. We have boxes of it in our household ready. If anyone gets sick, the first thing we do is literally up the probiotics and symbiotics. Herbs, you always hear me go on about taking herbs, more herbs, the merrier. And what we've lost over the last 100 years is the ability to use all those herbs. And everybody should be adding some herbs, some garlic and onions and rosemary and thyme. I've got all these growing in my garden, and I add them every single day. I had some of those in either my smoothie or something like that, okay? Or we put them on the meals. They're so easy to grow. Get some dried versions, but get some higher quality ones too. Adding herbs and spices is fantastic. Now, aloe vera is a win-win situation. It's absolutely fantastic. There's a huge amount of research on the benefits of aloe vera. It's relatively cheap to purchase. And you can take it twice a day, once a day. I take it probably 4 or 5 times a week, just a little sip of it. Why? To help rebalance my gut, because it's also just a healthy nutritional supplement, and it's cheap. So why not? And if anyone gets sick in our house with a gut issue, straight onto the aloe vera. And that's one of the simplest strategies we recommend to people. Curcumin, your turmeric, polyphenol is curcumin, and the one we recommend is Metabuzz. You can find the links through our website. That's a friend of mine who's been developing that for the last 20 years, and I love the work he does. And it's not just turmeric, it's an enhanced form of turmeric, curcumin, which makes it much more easily digestible and bioavailable, which is what you're after. Now, that doesn't mean you don't stop eating curries, because curries, when they're cooked in with the pepper and the other spices and a little bit of oil and so on, increases their availability too. But just having turmeric on its own, it's not very bioavailable. Ginger, peppermint, great to add to your teas if you like those, even or as an essential oil. Mastic gum is a really simple one. Mastic gum has been used for thousands of years. This is the sap of the pistachio tree. And I love this tree because pistachios on their own are a great digestive foods. I'll give you a little hint here, okay? I don't think I've mentioned them already. But pistachios are one of the best foods to improve digestion. Not only are they the richest source of melatonin, and you know how good melatonin is, but also they're rich in fiber, they're rich in protein, and they're rich in polyphenols, all of which feed the gut. And finally, they're very rich in potassium. And we, in a Western population, not me, but the vast majority, as in about 99%, have too much sodium and not enough potassium. So adding pistachios to a regular routine, and everyone has a great benefit for your health and well-being, but also it's a literally, I think, a great gut food that you can really enjoy. And mastic gum is the sap of that, and it's absolutely brilliant. Now, slippery elm, immediate relief. If you've got any immediate issues right now, you've got gastritis, you can't, feels like stuck there or whatever, or you've got reflux, you can try slippery elm. A little bit harder to take, it's really gluggy, but you mix it up, shake it down, and down it goes. And it's great for just giving it that immediate relief. And if you've got gut issues, you probably want to take that. If you're really trying to fix it, probably once a day, because it actually puts literally puts a coating, a slippery coating on your whole digestive tract. So simple strategy. Here's the one I mentioned about turmeric. And look, turmeric, there are more than 10,000 studies on the benefits of turmeric. And the studies are mixing turmeric, in this case, with fennel, turmeric with ginger, turmeric, where there are little studies on mixing them all. But at the cornerstone of all these is turmeric, and it's been shown to dramatically improve irritable bowel syndrome. Remember, because irritable bowel syndrome and ulcerative colitis and all these conditions are literally inflammatory conditions. So by having this, what you do is you lower the inflammation, you then provide the nutrients, and then so the gut can actually begin to heal itself. There have been studies on ulcerative colitis, peptic ulcers, Crohn's, and it helps in the eradication of Helicobacter pylori. It's a win-win-win situation. So I actually take this extract, the Metabuzz one, every single day. So it goes into my, I shouldn't call it a green smoothie, it just looks green, but I have 3 teaspoons of this, not as a drink or anything. I just down it first thing in the morning because it has so many health benefits around the body. The research on turmeric and curcumin ranges from cardiovascular hypertension right through to cancers and breast cancer, right through to asthma and allergies. So it's just something everybody should be having. And the enhanced formulas are obviously the ones we should be. So then we've got to look for extra nutrition. What is the extra nutrition we add on? We have to make sure that all the food we have is rich in nutrients. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the modern day foods, we've lost a lot of those nutrients. We've bred them out. So the apples are no longer bitter and tart and nutrient dense. They're rich and sweet. And now that doesn't mean don't stop eating apples. No, keep eating the apples and all those foods. But what we need to do is make sure all of our foods are nutrient dense now. We want to look at antioxidants and anti-inflammatory supplements and nutrition. Vitamin C, I take 3 grams a day. If anyone in our household gets sick, they take 10 or 20 grams a day. Grapeseed extract, resveratrol, curcumin, another one called quercetin. I'm really big on quercetin at the moment. Quercetin you find in onions and garlic at the highest concentrations, and in apples and other things, but certainly as a supplement as well. And all of these, by the way, just have to have antiviral, antifungal, anti-nasty, opportunistic bacteria properties. So it's a win-win. How simple is that? And you can add these. Now, sometimes you get mixtures of all of these, or in my case, we tend to have lots of these, and I just mix and match a little bit, because at the end, it doesn't matter. And what they do is have very strong antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties in the gut, and they're able to go into the body then, and then also have those same properties throughout the body. Again, win-win. Melatonin, 3 to 5 grams, and or something called L-tryptophan, which is the precursor to it. It's an amino acid. Melatonin you can get on iherb.com, and I'm a big fan for melatonin. The only condition that I've ever come across where I wouldn't recommend it is for rheumatoid arthritis. And I don't know why, but the studies suggest that it has this unusual reversing process with oxidation and inflammation. So the studies are out on it. So I will basically say, look, let's wait till the studies are in and we can say definitely have it. But in the meantime, if you've got rheumatoid arthritis, a little bit's fine, but don't take too much. Now, it's great for sleep as well. And if you've got a gut issue, you've probably got sleep issues as well. Essential amino acids. If you've got gut issues, you probably haven't been digesting proteins right. So you need to get a supplement, and this you can get pretty well anywhere. Omega-3 oils lower your inflammation, lower your risk of heart attacks, strokes, hypertensions, various cancers around the body, a whole raft of benefits from the omega-3 oil. So they're well worth supplementing. And of course, they have a lot of their action down in the gut itself. So get onto the omega-3. Finally, getting on to other aspects of the program I haven't mentioned. There are so many other benefits you can get. So while you're doing this program, swapping over your nutrition, building up your nutrient-dense foods, adding these things in, what you're after is other things can support you along the way, like acupuncture. And if you've got anything, you feel there's a blockage or your digestion isn't, go there because and check out someone who can help you. The TENS machine, diaphragm breathing. I do a lot of diaphragm breathing when I lay on my back. I do partly the Wim Hof technique of breathing, where I lay on my back and distend my stomach out and breathe in. And it's absolutely great. Yoga exercises for vagal tone. That's your nervous system, your vagus nerve, which goes from your digestive system up into your brain. And deep breathing, yoga exercises, stretches, anything like that is going to help. And linked in with that one, I haven't got it here, but no, actually, I think I've got it on one of the next one. But also make sure your sleep patterns, because we find that probably 70% or even more or less, whatever, of the population don't sleep well anymore. Welcome to the 21st century. That's possibly food related, it's possibly stress related, it's possibly a whole raft of things related. And you can do a whole raft of things to do with improving your sleep, including sleep hygiene. And that's been a battle for me, the sleep one, all my life. And it improved for me when I stopped my work at university. Why? Because I didn't have those extra stresses on me. Is it perfect? Not yet. It's a work in progress. Intermittent fasting. Look, there are great opportunities here, and this depends on the person. These are a couple of, little quote here, but I know people who will always just rave on about intermittent fasting. The studies rave on about them. So if you want to get quick started healing your gut, do a little bit of a fast. Now, the intermittent fasting may be, you just don't eat for one day. The ones I don't like are the ones that, eat for 5 days, any crap you want, and then eat for 2 days healthily in between a narrow time, kind of do a bit of a fast. No, I don't agree. So what you want to do is continue to eat well. Build it into your eating well program, into your gut healing program. Have a day without food, or just do, as I said earlier, the 12-12 eating plan. And it is a huge benefit. It lets everything clear out. Lots of studies showing that it helps with reflux, SIBO, IBS. Great way for just rebalancing everything. And then you do get back onto the healthy eating program after that, half a day or a day off or whatever you've done. I've got some of these already down, but I'm a big fan of osteopathy and chiropractic. Now, gone are the days where the chiropractor would come in and go, click, click, click. That was old school. Okay, now they do a lot of kinesiology, and they gently touch you and move you and listen to your body. And I think it's fantastic because all your nerves literally end up going up to your brain via your spine and vagal nerve. So all the messages out there. So what we want to do is make sure all of the messages are getting through. Now, just imagine if you've got somewhere C6 or 7, which is around about your sternum on your front here, just about here, but on your back. And if that's blocked, then so are the messages getting from your part of your digestive, particularly your stomach area, and through to your brain and nervous system. So you can see how I think you can't function with a nervous system. You can't function in a house where the wiring's not working. One piece of the wiring not working, none of it's working. The same thing happens here. So make sure you get a good chiropractor and osteopath. And I love it. I love going to them because you can feel the benefit sometimes straight away, but over a couple of days, it just improves. And of course, that involves the stretching and all those other bits and pieces I do as well. So really important to build that in. You don't just go and think, okay, I don't have to do anything. The stretching, the yoga, all those, I've got all those ones of breathing, meditation. Hypnosis can be great. Hypnosis is a really good way to get the brain and the body linked back together again. And so lots of ways going about it. So I've given you this kind of total program. You'll see a lot more information coming up as we go. But this program, if you follow through, it will make a big difference. And as you know, I always put this slide up because people say, but can I drink alcohol? If you've got major gut issues, hang off for a while. Don't. And certainly don't have it away from a meal. If you do really have to have a glass of wine occasionally, have it with a meal, because it's slightly acidic. Of course it is. And it can be mixed in with the meal, and the alcohol won't have as much effect. And then once you've started really working on your gut, literally just look at the things where you can introduce it as a win-win, but fix your gut first. It's a pretty simple process. So what I've done here is given you this program. I believe I've seen far too many people benefit from this. So get onto it and check out all the other recordings we've got, because they all add up to make your gut, your system, your body, your health so much better.